Here we are in part 7 of our series, and we're going to look at the FRedit library. And what I'm going to do is basically just wander my way through the library and just comment on things as I go along. So this video will just be like you and me sitting together and I'm just talking about it. So I'm not being very professional, but let's see how we go. Right, so there are various sections. We've got a list of short scripts. By a script I just mean a bit of a set of codes for FRedit, set of find and replaces. I've got a standard cleanup list. That's one that I've used. You can pinch bits out of it, you can get rid of it, whatever. And then a whole alphabetic set of different scripts. They're smaller ones. And then I've got some larger scripts to do quite complicated things that people have sent to me. And then at the end I've got a section of hints and tips, and that's the sort of thing which I'm not going to comment on. It will be worth your while just sort of having a read through once you've got established in using FRedit and see what you can learn from all the various bits and pieces in there. So right, let's look with the short scripts. So standard cleanup, all sorts of different things you might want to do, multiple spaces, rogue spaces in 4 places, with tabs and beginning of lines, manual line breaks, you might want to change those to proper returns, multiple returns, that's changing 3 into 2, so it's multiple carriage returns and reduced to just one blank line between paragraphs. And then this is an alternative. See, I've got a pad character in front of that, which means that one will not happen because that line is commented out. So if I want to use it, I'd need to get rid of those two, and then I'd be able to use that. So what have we got here? Highlighting if there are any tabs on the line start, deleting tabs at a line end, space dash space. You recognise some of these. Oh, superscripted hyphens are minus signs. I do a lot of scientific work, so that's what I use. I start by trying to find things that could well be BS, EN and ISO numbers and kind of blank those off so they don't get changed in the number range changes, and then I put them back later. All sorts of ways of doing that. Right, so we're now into the section on scripts, and I can't remember what a lot of these are. So oh, that's a useful one. That's BC and AD in small caps. Those are there. Chemicals, you may recognise those from the last video that we had. Automatic coding, that's putting in all sorts of codes, the typesetting codes. This is one I use a lot. If you've got hierarchical numbering, then you can use these to put the tags for the A, the B, the C in each level of headings. If you want colons with capitals or with lowercase, hyphens with capitals, not a clue what it is. Commas needing spaces, adding spaces after all commas that don't already have one. Okay, fine. Compass points, we could be here all day, couldn't we? Changing dashes, n ranges, treble hyphens making an m dash, double hyphens making a n dash, decimal points to decimal commas. Oh, lots of different ways of getting degree symbols wrong. This funny looking thing here is a hex code. It's where the symbol font, if you get a symbol font, it generates a funny hex code of hexadecimal F0B0, and so you can use this code here, which works with FRedit. Loads of diacritics, highlighting all diacritics, okay, so that you know that they're diacritics. This is a fun one. It catches duplicated words, and I have that actually in my standard script. So you've got VV if it finds the, and it will even catch something like he said, and that one is with 3 words that are repeated. Some people want a double space after the end of every sentence, so that can be done there. Ellipses, instead of lots of decimal points, you have a proper ellipsis. That's if they've used a symbol font for an ellipsis. All sorts of other ellipses, et als, etceteras, ways of formatting those. Feet and inches, using different ways of doing it, either unsexed quotes, that's non-curly quotes, or these proper, whatever you call them, primes, single and double primes. Now there's an example where we're using a hex code in the replace, because that's saying it's a 2032. I think we can do that if I do 2033 and then do Control Alt X. Yeah, that's right. So that code, the 2033, is the hexadecimal for that. If I do use watchar and look at that, what that symbol is, it's a double prime, and there's the hex 2033, which is what you see there. Headwords with glossaries, can't remember what it is, making them bold. Lone hyphens in tables. Oh, we've got separate, I've now got separate table macros that do that sort of thing, I think. Initial, can't remember apostrophes, no idea what else is. OUP sky, figure, using figures to be in small caps. Fractions, Greek symbols. No, this is symbol font is an absolute pain, and so these are the find and replaces to change symbol font into proper Unicodes. Loads of those, and some of them there are the hex codes that you'll see again, and replace them with a proper Unicodes. Not sure those two work, so they are. It took me ages to work those out. Again, more of the same, highlighting on. If you want to highlight certain things in the text, so that they're brought to your attention when you're reading through. Initial, changing initials, spacing them, unspacing them. IS to IZ. Well, we don't need those because we've got the IS to IZ and vice versa macros, which is much easier. IEs. See, we're alphabetically we're on LY. We don't want LY hyphen when they're adverbs, but there are some that we might want. So you take them all out and then put back the ones you actually wanted. Minus signs, proper minus signs, greater than, less than. Some people use double angle brackets, and we can replace those with proper much greater than symbols. Multi-digit numbers. Oh yes, removing commas from 4-digit numbers. Playing around with those. Different ways of playing with dates. What else we got? Multiple spaces. X is used when what they really want is a proper multiply sign. Negative indices using hyphens. No, I don't want what this. What those are. Citations outside punctuation, that's useful. Put those back outside the punctuation. Punctuation to the other side of a number. Figures to words, yeah, okay. Loads of those. And these are all exceptions to those figures to words things. Quotes, making them curly. European quotes, changing those into UK, US type quotes. Backtick, curly quotes. Curly quotes back to straight. Yes, if you want straight quotes, then you can turn them back using those. Square meters, meter squared. And they're using this double colon thing for 2, and then at the end of it there's the one we did in part 6 of the series. It's that one. Oh, the funny square and cube symbols. Unicodes, highlighting them all in case you want to know where the Unicodes are in the text. Subscripted variables, yeah. Negative powers of 10. Copyright symbols, registered symbols. THS, these ordinals, you call them. Not superscripted. Oh, there we go. We're at the end of those. So th is into fifth, into the word fifth, etc. Right, major scripts, all sorts of things there. Double quotes to single and vice versa. Replacing curly quotes, double quotes. Effect handling. Oh yes, if you're switching, if you've got, I call them effects, but it's things like italic and bold. You can mark them as ZCs and Is to mark those are italic, and then when you've done that, then you can clear the text down to pure text and then run this other script which then restores those things back into the italic, bold, superscript and subscript. But actually I think I've got a macro that does that, which is the thing for, what do we call it? Right, I found it. It's called clone word file. So that you can look that up if you want. What else have we got here? Effects and styles handling. Yeah, that's a bit historic. It's not terribly exciting these days. Elision and unelision. Yeah, so if you're changing, if you've got numbers like that and you want them elided to that, or maybe to that format, then these complex series of find and replaces will do that for you. These have been produced by Lotica. And then going the other way, you can unelide them by using these other codes. Quite complex, and not, I say, not ones that I've produced. Those are all still elision crumbs. These are the unelision ones. Elision for date, unelision for dates. Yeah, you don't want dates elided. Highlighting colouring as an indicator. Oh yes, we've done this on one of the earlier FRedit things, haven't we? Highlighting bracketed sections. Yeah, that's similar to one we had earlier. Initial capital removal. I don't know what all this lot is. Medical journal abbreviations that somebody produced for us. That's good. Multi-digit numbers. Oh yes, playing around with multi-digit numbers with delimiters. Words to and from. We've had that sort of. Oh, this is quite long, complicated one. Going from digits into words. Quite complex there. Figures. We're going to be here all day, aren't we? Sorry. Figures to numbers for all percentages. Oh yes, yeah. So you want numbers for percentages, not words. Spelled out percentages, UK style. Oh my goodness. Wow. Roman numerals. Yep, changing those into what do we call them? Arabic numbers. Spacing of units. Oh, this is one I use quite a lot for my scientific work. How to put thin space, either non-breaking spaces or thin spaces into the various numbers and units. That's a very useful one for me. Automatic tagging, there's a bit more about that there. Changing UK to US spelling, various things you can use there. UK to US, US to UK. Various people have contributed to this. It's quite long and boring. Crumbs, there we are at the end of that. It's taken me several seconds to scroll down through this lot. We found some lists here that someone's produced with states, expanding the states from abbreviations, various simple conversions, spaces needing. Oh, I think we've had some of this before, haven't we? Earlier, but obviously I keep putting these things in and then I can't remember where they all are, and yeah, there's all sorts there. Bridge characters. Someone had some, the game Bridge, the card game, and they wanted to produce these codes, so that's what they did, and we used FRedit for that. Finding special sorts, latex colouring. Yeah, I did some latex editing, and I did the editing in Word, which some people didn't think was a good idea, but it seemed to work. But what I did then was, having put the latex code into Word, I then used these FRedit scripts to colour them so I could recognise all the different elements within the latex code. Checking the alphabetism of an index. Oh, that sounds interesting. Don't know what that is. Collecting emails from a text file. Oh yes, that was something I wanted to do, scrape some emails out of a text file. And we're now on to the hints and tips section. I don't think there's anything there that I particularly want to do, but if you hold on a sec, I'll have a look. No, I'm going to have to stop because otherwise this video is going to be too long. Stop. Bye.